everybody! It's the Justicars, fresh back from saving the world and the Killing Time crossover. Welcome back. If you didn't get the chance to catch the Killing Time crossover, that was when 3 brave Star Patrollers from 1,000 years in the future came back into our present time to stop one of their own from wreaking havoc. And the Optimist and Core and Aether were there to help, along with a few folks from the Variants and the Star Patrol themselves. Astro Chimp even made an impromptu cameo, which was pretty great. So yeah, we're gonna get started. We're gonna do this.
Oh, is he back?
Oh my, we're...
Astro Chimp made a few cameo appearances while we're covering for Opti, passing the ball around.
Yes,
Astro Chimp teaming up with Bastion for Overwatch.
there you go. So
I don't know what that was about. Thanks for nothing, Discord.
We can't see your pretty face. Oh, there.
Hey!
Bob, are you still with us in spirit?
I am here in audio, at least.
All right.
Yeah, so Discord's giving everybody fits. In fact, the Streamathon that we just wrapped up, which we got all of the money we needed for keep the Shadowcasters on the air for the next year. So thank you all who donated. That was pretty great.
Yeah, and then some. We hit one of our stretch goals.
Yeah, which means our website's going to get updated. So we're all sorts of excited about that. So thanks everybody. So yeah, the Killing Time crossover. I'll only say this in that at the very end, Taro from the Variants mucked about with the Time Vault, which was supposed to send everybody back where they came from, but instead seemed to send the Star Patrollers back in time to the 1940s. So stay tuned for more about that, because they will be appearing in a new Optiverse show called The Guardian Allies, and that will premiere in September. And they will be Golden Age heroes from the 1940s, World War II stuff. So that's pretty exciting. If you want to take a look down there at the graphic that's showing up, this is some art that's not quite finished yet, but that's from the next Optiverse show that's coming, called The Cosmic Corsairs. And this will be the first one that I have nothing to do with. I'm not GMing, I'm not playing, I will just be enjoying and running tech support. So when the Variant Season 1 is over, the Cosmic Corsairs will take a short season and fill in for them for 4 episodes. And if you love them, then there will be more Cosmic Corsairs. And frankly, what I know about them, I don't think you can help but love them, because they seem pretty wild and crazy. So yeah, with that in mind, I'll fix Cliff's face in a second. Looks like he's got some nega energy all throughout his face. But yeah, with that and all that kind of caveat stuff, we also changed up the giving, right? So each time a new stream boss emerges, normally we would do hero points. This time we're going to change it and basically say that every time the new stream boss is defeated, they can give someone a reroll, or they can introduce a complication to one of the heroes or villains, which will of course give them a hero point. So I think this is a new fun little thing, so I look forward to seeing who defeats the stream boss next and gives rerolls or complications. With that said, Cliff, I think I'll hand the reins back over to you.
All right, I'm fading, but I think I've got enough energy to make it through. Apparently the Streamathon took a lot out of me, as you can see. I don't know what's up with the chroma key making me like partially transparent, but
too much radiation.
So, all right, yeah, in proper comic book fashion, you know, the Killing Time was sort of this separate run of things, so we're going to occasionally reference it with an asterisk, but otherwise we're going to get back down to business, continuing on from the events from our previous adventures, which this is episode 3 now. So episode 1 and 2 was basically your first busy day in business as Justicars. I suppose a little bit of a recap in order. Optimist, why don't you tell us a little bit about how things started with the trouble back at the brand new HQ?
Well, we had the headquarters that was being given to us, or at least inaugurated, and we were all prepared to accept this. We had, I think it was it Colonel or General?
General Maxon.
General Maxon was kind of with me right before the Optimist was supposed to take the stage and give his speech thanking everyone for this opportunity and their support. But General Maxon turned out to be some sort of evil bomb robot and tried to kill me. So we splattered him. Then a whole bunch of villains started popping in and out of portals. I think that's what I remember how things started.
Right, and Ether, why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened in that combat and how you guys took your base back?
So we went through, and we ended up splitting up, I believe. I can't remember. Give me on the spot. I can't really remember where Core and Astro Chimp went, because I think you guys were all in the same room, right? And then
I think you all pretty much were converged on a team. You didn't split up much.
Room by room, we split up.
HQ fight. It was afterwards, I suppose. Yeah, some of you kind of went through, like slipped through between the legs of the giant, T-Rex woman.
There's T-Rex woman, and there was like some sort of mage, and there was
Chaos Lord.
Yes, that's right.
You can do portals and teleporting and zappy magic and stuff.
And I ended up possessing a one of the grunts that appeared from one of the portals. We had a bunch of them that appeared, and there was a little device with a button, and we were able to eventually push that button and get that big sort of wall type of thing off of the outside of our headquarters.
Yep. All of those enemies got away, except for there was a little drone robot thing that got pretty well squished or smashed or blown up. Or maybe all of the above.
And the T-Rex maid service is not happening, unfortunately.
Unfortunately not. Your your negotiations were interrupted. All right, and however, at that point you learned that the band outside had used their evil magic powers to lure the entire crowd into buses to be taken away to have something bad happen to them. So you had to go chase them down. However, you weren't able to focus your efforts on that because while you were taking back your base, a new villain on the scene, Monarch, announced himself and his reign of terror on Proudhaven, and said that he was essentially doing an open call for all villains out there to impress him. They might get a chance to join the winning regime. So there were a bunch of villains out and about causing trouble, so you had to split your efforts. I guess, Lang, why don't you describe what Astrochimp went and did and how everyone sort of split off?
Well, Astrochimp had the privilege of fighting the giant monster, Kaiju. And, he just turned big, because, the best way to fight a Kaiju is turning yourself into another Kaiju. And then that's where we found out that Astrochimp and Core make a very dynamic duo.
High five, Astrochimp.
You defeated the giant monster. Let's see, Ether was at a bank robbery where there were a pair of women who had special powers. One had like mind control powers, and the other one could do stuff with water, apparently. And they seemed more interested in wrecking the place than stealing anything. But Ether stopped them with the help or interference of Florida Man and his robotic pal. While Gravistar single-handedly went to a military base that was under attack by some supervillains. You want to tell us about your adventure briefly there?
Yeah, I got to face off with the trio of Rudolph and the Flaming Chickie and the DJ.
Yes, Rudolph, Firefly, and Beatbox.
Yeah, Firefly and Beatbox. But, for some reason, Rudolph, that name will stick with me. I was able to 0G float Rudolph to get him out of my hair for a while, dropped a tank on Firefly, and then at that point, Beatbox decided this wasn't worth putting up a fight and surrendered. So, all in all, it wasn't too bad a day for me.
Yeah, and you managed to capture all 3 of those, I believe.
Sure did. It's nice to be able to neutralize them without actually having a KO.
Yeah, so in that, there was a character named the Necromancer who had apparently used the morgue to provide army services to take over the hospital, and had it as a essentially crowd-funded ransom. He made about half the money he wanted to before he eventually fled, as basically your entire team converged on the hospital after taking out your other objectives. And Opti, the Optimist, rescued the people on the buses and tried to have some sort of a conversation with I think it was the bass player, or was it the drummer of Seeley and the Butterflies, complimenting their music, but
I think it ended up complimenting the bass player.
Yeah, I think it was the bass player. I believe Seeley actually got away with the drummer, I think.
Yes, a number of them got away, but not all of them.
All right, so a number of villains have been captured. The overall majority of the destruction that could have been wreaked by all of these villains, you basically, as the Justicars in your first day on the job, even though you were initially pinned in by some sort of treacherous villainous attack that turned your own base against you, you stepped up and saved the city. And the city realizes that, and with all the sort of scary things happening with like the Napoleonic armies in Europe fighting the Alexandrian ones, and the various strange historic figures showing up appearing to fight other historic figures from different eras and then disappear. Some sort of time travel error, which the city needs something to hold on to and a bit of a morale boost. So, Opti, you're privately instructed by the mayor's PR agent that it's important for you to put on a good face and help raise everyone's spirits. So we're going to cut into after the awards ceremony several days later, after you've not only saved the city, but just come back from the moon, where Astrochimp has picked you up to give you a ride home. All of you but Ether and Gravistar, who were back home helping with the cleanup, I guess. And,
so
with all these references, there's an asterisk here and there that at the bottom of the page says see Killing Time issue 1 of 2.
So as we fly back from the moon, does the moon still reflect the fact that Xander the Cannon has marked it?
I'm going to say that there's a number of different epilogue things, right? Because one of the things that happened in that adventure is there is the face of a cowboy villain smiling, etched into the moon at such size that it is visible from Earth. So that's going to be there for a few days, but Astrochimp has been tasked by essentially the UN and a number of different agencies, along with some other people, to figure out some sort of way to clean that up. But yes, indeed, that is still there and visible. There's also been talk of using the space. There's sort of a large cavern that was carved out in there, along with a number of, essentially, it's a lot of wreckage, but a lot of material that's left behind. It might actually be a decent spot to actually use as a moon base, what is currently the eye patch of the giant visage.
Moon base, huh?
Yep, there's been some talks of maybe using it for a prison for villains with superpowers.
That does sound like a cool job for Astrochimp. To be like,
so that's part of the problem you're going to have to work with. They put that on your plate. You're going to have to, I guess, work on that in your off time, I suppose. Yeah, this is a few days later, and I believe before going off wherever they went, I'm forgetting their names already. The two agents in Star Patrol, which I'm even getting that name wrong.
Bastion and Pleiades.
Thank you. Yes, Bastion and Pleiades were able to hook you up with a rebuilt, sort of a replacement Justicars, which kind of looks and functions much like the original, but there's a number of different panels and like unknown gadgets and doodads that are like somewhat futuristic tech that don't necessarily have instructions in them. So that'll give us an opportunity for if you want to make like upgrades to your jet that might be weirder, higher tech stuff. That gives you a justification to upgrade your Justicars even further potentially. But at this point, it's just replaced and looks a little weirder and fancier.
Yeah, Astrochimp doesn't like other people's tech. He's gonna try to revert.
This isn't a reversion. This is like a rebuilt from scratch, quickly from like super high tech stuff. So
he's just gonna grumble.
The original Justicars is like an unrecognizable, bent and torn wreck.
He will
smash through a hole in the moon, basically.
He will mourn the previous Justicar, and he will every chance he gets, he says that he liked the first one better.
It just doesn't feel the same.
It totally handles better and like doesn't seem to need to use jet fuel. You're not really sure what's powering it actually. But with that, you're all. This is actually a few days later. If you have time to kind of check out the new Justicars a little bit and get back from the moon and all that, and maybe share some stories of your adventures, which we won't dwell on any further because I think we've done enough recap time now. You're all hanging around back at your base, which is still pretty badly damaged. Most of the systems are still offline and potentially full of computer viruses. The bodies have been cleaned up. Well, the bodies. The unconscious Chrysalis soldiers have been picked up, but they've been found to like not be living anymore. So now you find yourselves with essentially potentially a lot to do, and a city that has been brought to its knees, but rescued and given some hope.
You're welcome,
a number
city.
of different villains, including this monarch mastermind at large. So, I guess after you've received your rewards, each of you has a big fancy, thing on a ribbon. The Optimist has this big old key, and it's like a key to the city. You guys had a big award ceremony, a gala afterwards, stuff with the press. That's all done. You're probably a bit worn out. How are you all feeling, and what are you talking about?
I'm making a joke about locking up when I'm done. Or locking up the bad guys. With the key to the city. But otherwise, feeling great.
I feel, I'm sitting, making treats in the kitchen, for the team, and, talking to Astrochimp about, the adventures on the moon.
You turned into a giant version of me, you say?
I got to say it was fairly fun.
Not to complain, but you did make me a little girthy on the tummy area.
Oh, sorry to say, that's what Nutella does to you.
And he's spooning it in his mouth and like. No, it's healthy.
That shit's nasty.
Right.
It's made of almonds. They're good for you.
I'm cleaning up stuff. or at least trying.
Also, Asher Chimp is gonna try to convince Ether into letting him do experiments on her, because she's a ghost, and he is very curious about how she survives or how she exists.
So at this point, Ether, you're actually visible because you're inhabiting your usual body, which is the borrowed body of someone who was a vegetable.
Right.
In a vegetative state, I should say. That's probably a
much better way of saying it, yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, you have the body of someone who apparently doesn't need it anymore, but is still alive. You can make use of it. So you're moving about doing some cleaning up, and there is a lot of mess. A lot of it's pretty heavy. There's a lot of wreckage. Amongst the wreckage, you find a lot of pieces and bits that you think might be technology that was being used by this that talkative drone.
All right, I'm gonna put maybe that stuff aside and into some sort of box as I'm sorting that out of the trash of what was once a nice place.
Yeah, the great room is pretty messed up. It's sort of a big, just open space that had nice furniture and stuff, kind of a welcoming lobby / great room location meant to impress guests walking in, and it's just really messed up. That's where the bulk of the battle was, and there's the wreckage of that thing that was projecting the shield, which is completely wrecked. But maybe there's something about the housing that some of them can make some use out of. But other than that, out in the hall that surrounds that room, there's a lot of damage there because there were T-Rexes fighting each other. And then upstairs, there's a kind of knocked out hole in the wall. You had to fight some turrets along the way here and there and shut some of that stuff down. So it looks like there's going to need some repairs as well as just cleanup. In addition to the bodies of the soldiers that were captured, one of those that you had inhabited, it died not long after you left it. They had, some interesting tech on them as well. Each of them had a fancy gun that had a blaster type thing, and they also seem to have these jetpack things.
Well, that seems like something we might be able to benefit from later.
Anytime that Astro Chimp tries to suggest that Aether needs an experiment done on her or anything like that, she's going to offer him that bin of drone parts and suggest that he does things with that instead.
Yeah, he's been following Aether around with one of those ghosts, what I forget what they're called, electromagnetic signal detectors.
EKG machines.
Yeah, those around this will just take a couple of days at most.
No. I found a box of stuff you can go through. Stay away.
As far as that EM reader thing, I believe Ether, you could play that thing like a fiddle.
Oh, I'm sure I could. I might mess with him later.
I'll try to distract him by offering him Nutella-filled cookies.
All right, fantastic. Sounds good. I'm gonna go and try to look around in that technology, in that drone leftovers, and I got I don't know would I know anything from just looking at it. I got a technology of 26. Routine check, 36.
Okay, looking over the bits of things, this is fairly decent sort of modern high-tech drone stuff. Fairly brilliant custom jobs work. It's not from the future, another dimension, or alien tech or anything like that. That said, it is pretty nice, and there's a lot of You're taking a look at the computer chips that are built in there, and there's a pretty immense amount of processing power this thing had, as well as data storage. Something well outside the range of what you'd normally expect of a drone. You also are able to get some bits of remnant code, but you're not quite sure what to make of it yet. It's all kind of like encrypted and probably use its own like programming language, or I'm not sure, I'm not using the right term, but protocol or however you want to call it. And it's going to take a little bit of time to figure that out. That said, you can probably like do your quickening bubble power and do the research fairly quickly if you want.
Yeah. Ashrim says, this thing is, the hardware is fairly mediocre, but this software, Then he just turns his time bubble on and he just computerizes this thing. Puts in the good old chimp computer.
Okay, so you're working with the code fragments and trying to work with what you can. A lot of it is too damaged to actually like have it be fully intact. But I guess if you kick your like speed bubble into high gear, you can take some time and spend what would be a few days, more or less, for most people, but probably a few minutes for you.
Yeah.
Looking it over, and you find very quickly that it is a very kind of difficult to understand code. It's very complex. You're not quite sure what its function seems to be. It actually seems to activate and alter almost like a living virus. Though it doesn't seem to actually go after or damage any existing systems. And it doesn't seem to do much of anything unless you poke and prod at it. Like, it seems to mutate when you mess with it, but otherwise it seems dormant or perhaps dead or maybe just without purpose.
Alright, so I'm gonna use Chimp's complication, Deadly Curiosity, so he needs to understand what this thing is.
Deadly Curiosity.
Yeah. So he's gonna try to make like a robot body and try to reconstruct some sort of like AI using this virus thing.
Oh, okay. So you start working on that then. That's gonna take you some time. I guess Gravistar, you've been busy probably while everyone else has been off. Like chasing time bandits or something. You've been busy back at home doing things, kind of left with all this mess. What have you been up to? What has Gravistar been doing?
I wanted to focus on just cleaning up debris and actually making repairs. I mean, this is the only home I got, so I got to make it back the way it was.
Okay, so what sort of skills and abilities do you use to repair the Justicars HQ?
Who was that to?
I have. I'm skilled in technology, general science. Yeah.
Okay, I think technology makes the most sense. Go ahead and give me a skill roll for that, or I suppose you could take 10 if you want to, if you're confident with that.
Yeah. Taking 10 gets me an 18. I'm fine with that unless it's harder.
All right, so you get the basic repairs up and running. You're able to kind of help. There's contractors and such that are coming in to help with some of the more mundane stuff, like replacing windows and, chunks of wood and doors and things like that. You're more focused on the tech side of things, and you can get those all replaced and installed. And a lot of turrets have to be rebuilt because I think Astro Chimp wrecked a bunch of those in the hallway. Mostly Astro Chimp. I mean, they were shooting at him, so I think Opti blasted some too. So yeah, replacing the turrets, I mean, he'd been messed with those, so that takes up a chunk of time as well. But you're able to get things back up and running. Along with the Ether, who's sort of helping with moving things around and doing some to clean up as well. So I guess by this point, the base is pretty well in order then. In the med bay downstairs, you have sort of a morgue type thing. You've got 4 of the bodies of these chrysalis soldiers on ice. You have all the evidence that you wanted to hang on to look at. Some of the other, like any of the rest of the chrysalis soldiers, have been claimed and sent off to various other law enforcement or investigational agencies or who knows what. But you got 4 of them. I guess we've kind of gone around with everybody at this point, except for maybe Core. What have you been doing since you got back from the moon?
I've been kind of getting settled into the base since we had really just arrived 2 episodes ago. So I'm kind of getting settled in. I'm figuring out the kitchen. I've actually set up the common area and the eating area with extra seats so that if any of our new variance friends or time friends happen to drop by, there's always a spot for them. But other than that, I just help with some of the cleanup and kind of making it feel more like a home.
But yeah, you find the kitchen facilities pretty nice, largely undamaged, though there's some broken windows near the kitchen, but it's a pretty nice place, fairly well stocked. Some of the appliances you have some trouble with, they seem a little bit glitchy. But nothing too, nothing you can't live with, I guess, just stuff where you have to kind of turn it off and back on, or it maybe operates a little bit faster than you expect.
Oh, yeah, anything that's weird. My new chimp friend seems pretty smart, so I'll ask him to help fix whatever's broken.
You check in with him, and he's like, sure, but he doesn't actually respond back right away. You may have to bug him a bit more. In the meantime, he's busily working on designing this robot body thing. So, as for Chimp, eventually you get back around. When you eventually get back around the core, probably a few hours later after noticing the call or the message, what do you say?
I say the work is beneath me, and then I kind of just walk over there begrudgingly with a frown on my face, turn on my time bubble, and fix everything.
Okay. Give me a, technology, I think, check?
Would a routine check of 36 be enough?
Sure. So it takes you a little bit of time, more than you expect, actually, about 4 times as long as you expect. There's some sort of software scramble in all of these things, and at first you start unraveling it and just you're about ready to move on with your day, but then something seems familiar, and you realize there are some code fragments, kind of like the ones you've been looking at in the drone, but most of the time when you find them, they seem to be deleting themselves.
It's gonna look. It's kind of gonna. Then he gets the Justicall, or I forgot, Justiphone, or whatever we're calling it.
Justicom.
Yeah, Justicomps. There you go. He gets the Justicom and says, "My fellow heroes, it appears that I have infected the Hall of Justice, or Hall of Justicars."
Ooh, that's trademark.
So it starts out from the time bubble, my fellow heroes, and then you're turn the time bubble off. My fellow heroes.
There you go. Yeah, it's
infected it with what?
Building. It's a super sentient, possibly sentient, techno virus thing.
Well, can you uninfect it?
It seems to be very evasive.
Well, I trust you'll handle it. Thanks for letting us know.
If the shower starts doing anything weird, just heads up.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, it all erased itself. I mean, not the stuff that you had, but the stuff that you were finding and seeing in the appliances. which are essentially linked up to the whole base computer system.
Yeah, it's gonna be like frag, and then he's gonna go. Is gonna basically just give like the whole computer system a look up.
Yeah, I'll be down momentarily to assist with that. I knew I should have restricted your access.
It's fine. It's fine. This thing happens to me every Tuesday.
All right, so as they're looking at that, Optimist, what are you up to? I imagine you have a lot on your mind as you're thinking about all the different revelations that have essentially been dropped at your feet the last few days. Not even counting the time trouble thing.
Yeah, so it is disturbing that the city or the country was able to be infiltrated. I don't know exactly on what level it was. General Maxon, who I consider to have been a friend. I'm not sure if there's a real General Maxon or if the person that I had known all this time has been a walking bomb waiting to explode on me.
You may recall, or maybe you don't because we had a busy stream and it's been a while, maybe a month since that episode. You did have a vision from Hope that Maxon was in trouble. Like,
oh, that's right. I remember he was tied up
down somewhere. Yeah.
Did we ever find him?
No.
Well, all of a sudden I realized this and have to go find him.
You don't really have any leads. You have no idea that he'd been replaced by a robot bomb.
So much has happened that I forgot that this was going on, and we haven't had a break from saving the world. But now I have to start thinking about where General Maxon might be. Astro Chimp, I know you're busy, but do you have any idea how we could find a particular person who's missing?
You can fly around. Oh, I can look into the interwebs. The information superhighway.
No, what I mean is General Maxon. He's missing. He's kidnapped, and we don't have anywhere to look for him. Is it possible that he's trapped by the people that have the same tech that you're using? Can we backtrace it, quadrangulate it?
It's not a terrible idea. If I isolate the code fragments, I might be able to see if there's any memories left in the data cores.
Yeah, could you get on that and let me know? I don't think I'll be able to sleep soundly knowing that our good friend General Maxon is kidnapped.
It's gonna let's see. Yeah, he's gonna get right on that. Does a 36? Oh, if a 36 doesn't work, I'll do a technology.
For what skill test?
Technology. I'm trying to see if there's any memories, any sort of like information left in the drone's data cores or memories or whatever.
Well, the one thing I had mentioned, or that I hadn't mentioned actually, is that there was that robot bomb thing of that was impersonating General Maxon. Like, that didn't blow up. There's still pieces of that too, so maybe you could learn something from that.
There's still Robo Maxon?
No one's done an autopsy or anything of the bodies of the soldiers that had come through and attacked the Chrysalis goons, the dudes with the guns and the jet boots.
Well, I hate to put this on Astrotrim or Gravistar, but I'm really not very good at doing the mechanical autopsies. Cliff, we're getting a pretty big echo from your setup now, I think.
From mine?
Yeah.
I switched to headphones. So.
Oh, you did? Well, then it's somebody else.
It shouldn't be.
It might be Robert.
I noticed early in the show, like, there was a lot of typing coming through. I was going to say something, but then it stopped, and I haven't heard it since.
Well, we'll carry on then.
Are you getting an echo from, like, my voice when I'm talking right now?
I can't tell where the echo's coming from, but no, I'm not getting it from you.
Okay, I doubt it's my stuff, but, you know, who knows? Gremlins. We probably all have them.
Cool. Well, I tell Astrochimp and Gravistar about the problem and how I have this piece of Mecha Maxon in my ready room.
I can always give Astro a teamwork assist. I do have that advantage, so it makes it a +5.
Nice, I'll take it.
Yeah, that'll get him up into the 40s. So, yeah, between the two of you, what are you putting this to again? I apologize. I forget what exactly you're attempting to accomplish here.
I'm basically trying to hack into the bomb Maxon and see if he has any memories of the actual Maxon.
Okay, so you check out the bomb Maxon dude. I'm going to have you roll it instead of taking a 10, because this is maybe kind of important to the plot here. Unless you can always take 10 even in that circumstance, in which case go for it, but it might be helpful if you manage to get it even higher.
Alright, I'll do a roll. So that's 28 plus 5. 33.
Alright, with the 33, that's definitely not at your best. You're not used to some of this tech, it's weird, and there's a lot of it that's designed to like help shield it and its existence from scanning and fiddling and meddling, and it takes you a little while to start getting used to and start circumventing some of the countermeasures. So I imagine you pop your bubble so it doesn't take you all day. Or several days.
Popping bubbles.
And you start working really fast on this thing, and yeah, one thing I will tell you that you're able to figure out pretty quickly is that this bomb probably would have rendered Optimist, it would have neutralized him. Like, maybe not permanently killed him if he's really powerful with the Spirit of Hope thingy, who knows what that can do, but like, even the most powerful of superheroes would have been more or less taken out by this explosion, especially in this enclosed space. So it's lucky that didn't happen, right?
Dastardly villains.
Other than that, yeah, it's got some resilient, what's the word I'm looking for? Residual data and such that you can pull from it here and there, and a number that seems to be all sorts of different, like, weird biometric kind of like readings and biological data, as well as just a whole bunch of like real-time data dump stuff that you assume must be reads like in real time from the actual person, General Maxon, that it's trying to copy. So you think this was somehow linked up with the actual original person, who must have been kept alive at least during the time that this has happened. What's happened to him since, you can't guess at, but they might be holding him in reserve to do this again someday. Who knows? You think you might be able to use this to do a reverse trace, but you're not sure, and if you do, it runs the risk of alerting the other side of what you're doing, and they might be able to do things back to you. Or they might do things to General Maxon. So it's a little bit of a risk, but you do have a potential lead there.
All right, I let Opti know this, or Optimus know this.
Well, if there is even a chance that we can get a lead on this, we need to take it. So what do you think?
I think this General Maxon, they're keeping it around. They probably don't have any, they're not playing anything good. So, Gravistar, if you...
Absolutely.
All right, as you're working on this problem rather, Ether, what are you up to? The place has been cleaned up pretty nicely. Looks like most people seem to be moving around and having their plans and whatnot. Besides being asked to be scanned and experimented on, people haven't really been calling on you for much, and a lot of this seems a little bit out of your expertise. What have you been doing with your time?
That little device, the little ghost hunting device that Astro Chimp was trying to follow me around with, where did he leave?
It's probably like hooked onto the outside of his suit somewhere, like in a handy spot, along with a number of different various tools and devices.
Okay, I'm trying to find another one then in the building, because I don't really have a way to communicate with people outside or when I don't have a body. So I'm kind of looking into maybe installing something like that or asking to have something like that installed to the other Justicars suits so that they can understand me if I'm out of my body.
So you're digging around in Gravistar's lab a bit, looking around a bit, and you start digging through stuff. What sort of skill or ability are you using to do this?
I'm just looking around. I'm not going to be the one to install anything. I'm literally going to ask the tech guys, not myself. I'm not really a tech.
We'll go with perception then.
Okay.
Okay, so with an 18, you're able to look around. You do find essentially a cabinet that's full of different, various different tools and devices. They seem to be different measuring things. You can manipulate them and get them to respond with your, like, electro control stuff. None of them look quite the same as what Astro Chimp has, but you think you find one that serves the same function.
Okay. I'm going to take that and head over to where Gravistar and Astro Chimp are.
All right. You catch up with them. They're working on this weird robot corpse of General Maxon.
This is probably like 100 times less important than what you guys are doing, but can I borrow one of you guys for just a second?
Astro Chimp looks at you and sighs, sure. But it better not be about fixing your computer.
No. I can't communicate with you guys when I'm outside of this body. And if you guys had something like the device that you have, or like this or something, on your suits of some sort, maybe I can figure out a way to talk to you guys when I'm not in my body.
I suppose I could hook up some sort of audio device in it. You can mess around with it, communicate with us that way.
Okay.
Hey, you're able to manipulate electromagnetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that might be the ticket there, Astro.
Yes, we could add some sort of record a whole bunch of different phrases, put it in there, and she could just manipulate the electromagnetic energies in there and communicate with us that way.
Yeah, because I've like just in the past day there were times where I needed to talk to you guys, and I don't think we're always going to have a bottle of Nutella available, and I really don't want to deal with that again.
He puts his finger up and hides the and puts his finger back down again, then hides the bottle of jar of Nutella that he has back into his mouth. But he will grab the device and reconfigure it so you can communicate through it.
Cool.
And that's another time bubble.
Now, these will be fairly simple communications. You wouldn't be able to do like super detailed stuff. unless you took a lot of time to do it, perhaps. So simple, quick messages would be fine, but anything more detailed, you're going to be resorting to like something like Morse code.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Google Translate, where you can like put things in and sort of translates for you, or there's like a robotic voice that tells you what you.
Is your ability precise? It's a specific, I think, modification.
Is that for me or Aether?
For Ether.
Oh, let me check.
DM control stuff. If it's precise, you could essentially like make speakers make the sounds you want by essentially using them as a transducer. But if it's not precise, you're limited to more or less simple controls.
I'm checking that right now.
Think like you can operate a computer, but you have to use a regular keyboard. But you have to use your open palm every time you have to hit something. So the buttons have to be, you know, that simple. That's a bad analogy. Never mind.
I was gonna say I don't have anything that says precise.
Okay, so yeah, you can do like you can trigger certain things that they will like. Hey, that's the code for danger or something. So I'm not gonna worry about the individual things, but if I think it gets too complicated, I might have you like make a hero point or dumb it down as far as the message goes. We'll leave that for now. I'm not gonna have you make a list of the like code that you guys have unless you really feel like doing it in between adventures. Okay, I guess as all that's going on, is there anything else that someone wanted to be doing or having going on that you don't want me to skip past?
How long is all of this taking to do all this techno nonsense?
We're going to say it's been about 3 days since the Monarch made his presence known to the Proudhaven.
Okay, so as they're busy and everything like that, I'm gonna take some time to just go into eagle form and fly around the city and make sure everything's looking okay and kind of reassure everyone of our presence and our watchfulness and that we're still here and close by.
The city seems generally hopeful. The most damage is where the kaiju thing attacked, but even that was limited to only a couple of buildings and some of the pavement. It seems to be pretty well contained, and there are police directing traffic around that block as repairs teams are coming in to repair the road and the buildings and such. Apparently one building has to be like completely demolished and rebuilt, or something else is going to be built there. They don't know what's going to happen, but there's all sorts of talk about some sort of like a monument commemorating the events of the city and its perseverance. But that said, as you move around, it does seem like Proudhaven is still standing proud despite its problems and shortcomings. Rather the assailment of the different villainous elements. It seems relatively quiet, except for the many rebuilding efforts that are being done to repair the damage from recent. There was that attack. It apparently was a bunch of like Spanish conquistadors, and they were fighting cowboys. And some of the cowboys had some TNT, and it got a little messy.
When was this?
There's an asterisk, and it refers to see Killing Time issue 1 of 2.
That's dynamite.
Gotcha.
With a little note that like this is just a description of some of the background chaos that might have been happening during that time. So, still having echo problems?
It's hard to tell, but I think so, yes. I haven't been able to isolate it.
Well, there's a big time delay with the chat, so...
I had
I guess
muted
just let us
everybody.
know.
I muted
Everything
everybody.
Sounds good to me.
one at a
but I don't
time.
necessarily hear things how you hear them. So
Yeah, I muted
It
everybody one at a
sounds
time,
fine
and it
on my end, too.
never fixed it. So I don't know. If I muted everybody, maybe that would fix it, but I don't.
I guess lastly, I'll make some time to talk to each of the members and get to know them better as well, and let them know that I'm willing to help out with whatever, but I don't, if the opportunity provides or shows itself, that I would like to give my silver branch to someone that deserves it more, that could make better use of it.
well, as you're hanging around, you see that Ether, or the woman that she's inhabiting, seems to be hanging around quite a bit. Not as involved in repairing things and analyzing the tech. She might be one of the first people you bump into and have a chat with. So when you see her sort of hanging around in the hall, just kind of looking around at things and maybe having a quiet moment to herself, what do you say when you approach her?
Hey, how you feeling?
Okay.
You like your new skin? Sleeve? What do you call it?
I've had this one for a little while. It's just a body. I don't have a body at the moment, so.
I recently
This is
remembered
what I
I'm Irish, so I'll start doing that again.
Skin sleeve. Ew. I can't.
I like your outfit.
There you go. I like that. Less dark.
Altered carbon reference, right? As Plateau was pointing out there.
So while Aether
Skin
and
sleeve,
Cora are
that's
talking, the
Right,
optimist.
our viewers are going down here. I can't help but notice. I try not to pay super attention to that, but I can't help but feel like everyone's kind of burned out from the whole streamathon thing.
That's possible, and
So
maybe they're
those
just.
of you who are here, thanks so much for hanging out, and we're happy to have you
I've
here
been muted
to
the whole
continue.
time.
Opti's muting himself. Yeah, it's
We're crushing it today.
Today's a low-key episode.
well, it makes sense to kind of wrap up and kind of cover how you guys are settling in with things after all the action. So it's fitting after our super busy streamathon weekend. But I guess I do want to take a moment to shout out to everybody who's here and probably watching and who was involved in the streamathon. Thanks for that. That was awesome. We love doing that every year. I mean, maybe we hate staying up as much as we have to do it every year, but we love doing it every year, and we love doing this. We love doing the Shadowcasters Network every year. So thanks for showing up and supporting. And damn it, gosh, the streamathon still has me in pledge drive mode. What am I doing? Actually, while I'm bringing that stuff up, we do have some cool stuff involving, support for Justicars and art goals. Maybe since I've already interrupted things awkwardly, Opti, you can fill us in on some of the stuff that you're planning on doing with that.
Yes, I wouldn't mind taking a small moment. Maybe after this we could take a break and then reset.
That's what I was thinking too.
So yeah, we have always like an ongoing art goal. I think we're $100 or so away from that art goal, in which the fans get to choose which piece of art we get next. And then is the streamathon still going on for at least a little bit longer, or are we officially wrapped up with it?
I thought the fundraiser ended at the end of the streamathon, and the streamathon ended at 3 a.m. this morning my time. So
okay, so yeah, as of now, all we've got is just I don't think I put it back on there, but yeah, all we've got is the art for the Optiverse, and then the players get to choose, which is cool still, man. So if you want to throw money at us, we'll make some more art. We'll make some more art of you. We had a goal during the streamathon if he raised a certain amount of money, then we were going to make the Bare Naked Ladies of Canadian music rock fame into a super team, but we fell a little bit short, alas.
There was another goal that we fell a lot short of making, which was the new Prism Shard music, one of which would have been a song that I shall not name.
Okay, it sounds like our tech issues are getting a little bit sorted out, so why don't we just take a 10-minute break, and then we'll be back, and we'll finish this up and do some more Justicaring. We'll see you guys in 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
Oh, Bob.
Hey, everybody. We're back on. Good
Poor
to
Bob.
see ya. Aw, Bob's still
Bob,
missing.
face.
I did a
Bob's
complete
still missing.
We should have like a stand-in image that we could use. Like, do we have a Gravistar thing we can stick in
Well,
place? of the,
Gravistar's there.
Yeah, but I mean, when we cut to the other like view, when it shows our like faces and stuff, if we're not going to have any Gravistar, I mean, maybe it would. We can like use a snippet of an image of his character there, like a still, instead of the default like little gray Discord circle.
Or we could look for the funniest Bob picture.
We'll figure it out. I think when we left off,
No.
Aether
sorry.
and Core were having a conversation.
So, I wanted to talk to you. Like, what's your thing?
My thing.
Yeah, like you're ghostly, but like is that your? Were you born like this?
Oh no, I lost my body. It's still out there somewhere.
Oh, so you're not dead?
Oh no, not yet anyway.
Oh, good. Okay, I was real worried I was making a faux pas there.
No, I'm not dead. I'm just kind of dead.
I'm having
Just
bad luck, guys.
mostly
I
dead.
keep forgetting I'm actually Irish. I'm tired. So, how long have you been saving the world and saving people's?
This is day 3, day 4, something like that.
Oh, you're new to the superhero gig.
Yeah. How about you?
Fairly new. I probably won't be in the business for long.
You won't be in the business for long, you said?
Yeah, I mean, you are super. You have these powers. I was just given an object that I mean, certainly someone could do better with, you know? Someone with actual skill and strength and speed and whatever else.
So you're just borrowing something to be able to do stuff and turn into centaurs?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it without it. I was given this object, but I never understood why.
Well, if you were given it, then it's yours, right?
Maybe, but it's responsibility I didn't ask for or deserve.
Hear you there.
Hey! You two girls have done a great job. I just came in to say, I hope I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Not at all.
Nope.
Well, I just want to say that it was my absolute pleasure that you were representing the Justicars, and we saved all of time and space. Can you believe that?
It was pretty unbelievable. I never dreamed I'd be alive to go to the moon.
Right? How amazing was that? And I was just telling AstroChim how awesome it was that you had the quick thinking to use the syringe on Bastion. You saved that guy's life.
I mean, it was just impulsive. I have been terrified of that syringe since AstroChip created it, and I guess it was for a reason.
Brilliant, she says. I was just acting on impulse heroically. Your heroic impulses are amazing, Core. And you, Aether, gosh darn it, I couldn't be more proud. Like, it was just a couple months ago that you were stealing a bunch of stuff, and here you are saving the entire, not just the world and the universe, but all of time-space itself. I mean, goodness gracious, that's gotta feel good.
You were a thief?
Oh, yeah, hey, not everybody has the same starting point. It doesn't really matter where we were. What matters is how much growth we get.
Your past doesn't
sorry,
define you.
Aether. I was trying to be
I believe you
encouraging.
can do good.
Estrogen is gonna walk in with the device that he has modified for Ether. And here, you should be able to use this. You're gonna sound a little robotic. And then he gives it to her. And then he also turns to a core. And I also made this for us. And then he takes out like 2 t-shirts with Estrogen and core fist pumping.
That's amazing. Thank you. I'm gonna give Astrochimp a giant hug.
Oh, no, let's not go overboard here.
I think you already went overboard with your shirt.
Hey, just found some spare fabric laying around, okay?
Shadowcasters Network, how do we sell these t-shirts?
That is fantastic, Astrochimp. I must say, I'm slightly jealous, but I understand that your special bond is something quite extraordinary. In fact, I was witness when she became a 30-foot version of you. It was legendary.
Yeah.
Good talk. So, about finding General Maxon. Where are we at with that? Grab a star!
I believe Astrochimp and I have been able to come up with a little something, at least point us in the right direction.
Okay, well, when we're ready to pull that trigger, I think that would be a great time to do so. In the meantime, Astrochimp, can I talk to you about something?
Sure.
So Optimus, where are you taking Astrochimp for a private conversation? The kitchen's become rather crowded.
How
We
about...
can both fly.
Do we have a... we just
Go up to the upper stratosphere.
fly with me. Yeah, that's a good
People
idea.
flying off
We'll just fly together.
Alright.
And,
above the grounds, which are fairly serene. The
Can we just
surrounding
sit on the
carpet has all
top?
been cleaned up.
can we find a spire just to sit on?
There's a dome-like thing that you realize when you get up there. Kind of seems to have an iris-like spiral shape to it. You wonder if it's designed to open or not. You might have to ask someone about that.
All right, mental note. Try to figure out what the iris on the bubble on top of the headquarters does. Hey, so Obo, we haven't had a chance to really talk, and it's been a long time since we first met. But it looks like you're hanging around more than you normally do.
Well, yeah, when the problem with space is when you've seen it, you've seen it. You know what I mean?
I can't say that I do, because frankly, going into space the other day was quite exciting, and I was intrigued the entire time. I could have bothered to stay more, but I am an Earthbound hero, and the people down here matter to me. But speaking of that, I mean, you matter to me as well. So I just want to check in on you and see how you're doing, readjusting to being around people and all.
Well, it's a little difficult. Being in space by yourself can make one very uncomfortable around Homo sapien.
Well, if you ever need a Homo sapien to have a relationship with, I'm right here for you.
Astrochimp kind of he pauses and he's like, would you like to play some video games?
I love video games. My son was the best at Street Fighter. Have you ever played that game?
Oh yes, I play Blanca because he's kind of like a monkey.
I was gonna say, my son played Blanca, and all he did was push the button hard enough, and I could never figure out a way to defeat that. His electricity. But yeah, I'd love to play that game. I've gotten quite good with a hero called Ken.
Oh yes, I like him too, but I find that he's too much like Ryu.
Well, he wears red, though, so he's totally different.
He is also blonde. I see your point.
Well, I'm glad we had this chat. I'm going to go grab some coffee and see how the others are doing. You take care of yourself, Obo.
Will do.
All right, so as Opti was discussing things with Astro Chimp, Gravistar, you made your way back to the lab to kind of get back to work on things and maybe get to work on a PowerPoint presentation to explain things to everyone later or something. I don't know. But I guess either that gives you a chance to kind of slip away from all this recent scrutiny, personal scrutiny, and Core, you can kind of take advantage of this to follow Gravistar down in the hall as he's heading towards his lab. It doesn't look like he's got any ways to evade your I don't know how to put it.
Aggressive friendliness.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Friendliness. Yes. Your friendliness. So
Hi.
we'll cut to a panel of Gravistar walking back down the hallway toward the laboratory with the lab just up ahead on his right and flying up behind his Core with a big old panel bubble that says "Hi" in Comic Sans and italics bold with exclamation point.
And I'll be in my pixie form, so I just can fly up on his shoulder and pop a squat.
Well, hello, Core.
You're pretty quiet. I thought we could chat while you work. I wouldn't be distracted.
No, I'm quite capable of multitasking. Besides, I would love to hear about your adventures on the moon. Sounds like you had quite the time.
Oh, it was overwhelming and a little scary, but luckily I had real superheroes there to save the day.
The door slides open and you walk in, revealing the lab room that has a sort of a slab in the middle that has laid out the somewhat grisly but mostly technological remains of not General Maxon there. Various different tubes and wires and things connected to different components and computer systems and displays.
As I begin to start running some final diagnostics and different tests here, well, Core, I wouldn't sell yourself so short there. You are a real superhero.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't have mystical powers to control gravity. I just have an object. A special object. The object is superpowered. I'm just Core.
Yes, but if I understand the workings of this object, you make it special.
Well, that's very kind. Thanks, Gravistar. How did you come upon your powers? Were you born with it?
I was not.
I want to say as you guys are talking, and the panel that shows one of the computer screens that's behind both Core and Gravistar out of both of their view, there's a little text thing that shows up that says "Aw" with a little heart emoticon. And then it disappears before you look that way again. Only the readers are aware of it.
Yeah, 5 years ago, I was a simple xenogeologist. I got the opportunity to work on a meteorite sample that was brought to Earth. Unfortunately, there was an incident in the lab. The rock exploded, taking me in the lab with it.
But you survived.
In a matter of fashion, I came out the other side no longer human.
You're still human. You still protect humanity. You're part of this world.
Yeah, I feel myself becoming farther and farther distant from it every day.
Well, I guess it's up to us, me and the other Justicars, to keep you tethered to the ground. You'd think as a Gravistar you'd be able to keep your feet firmly on the ground yourself, but we're here to help.
At that point, there's a little ding as a progress bar fills up and finishes, and Gravistar, that was the last doohickey thingamagaffin for the MacGuffin to work with tracing the robot thing to rescue General Maxon.
Ah, good. The program's finished running. I believe we have the information we need. Let me take this back to the team and...
Good job! I couldn't have done that, see? You're superpowered in more ways than gravity.
Alright, so when you're getting back up there, I guess, Ether, you've been up in the kitchen, kind of left to your own devices there, maybe a bit hungry. What's the snack you're fixing for yourself?
I'm making some grilled cheese.
Alright. Are you cooking some up with anticipation of everyone else having some when they get back up, or just making your own sandwich?
I'm making my own sandwich.
What are you having to drink? Because you can't have a grilled cheese without something to drink.
All right.
And what kind of cheese are you picking, by the way? Because that's important.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I'm trying to be fast, so I'm just grabbing a Kraft single. Where's our sponsorship?
Ew, that's not cheese. Okay.
It's cheese. It's a Kraft single.
I'm not going to cheese shame you on the show. Despite my temptations, I do live in Wisconsin, so I do feel some of a need to represent. But no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm grabbing what's available. I'm not cutting anything.
Sandwich. And what do you have? What are you washing it down with?
I don't know. Whatever's in the fridge. Let's see. Since I'm grabbing
that fancy bottle of water that's got the bubbles in it and tastes like when the fast food places run out of the syrup for the soda.
Yep, let's do that. That's fancy.
Okay.
I'll take it. My not fancy grilled cheese, but my fancy drink.
Okay. Yep. So you coming up and she's sipping on a drink with a mostly eaten sandwich in her offhand, and that's when Optimus shows up with Astrochimp flying in through the balcony window, and Core and Gravistar walking back up from the hallway that leads to the laboratory.
What's that beeping?
I'm just throwing the sandwich into my mouth all the way and then running after them.
I think it's the tracker.
Yes, that means we can go get General Maxon. He's been waiting too long in horrible conditions. I assume. They could have got to know him, and maybe he used his general charisma to win them over. But I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that he's still tied up, like I saw in my vision.
I'm going to say, here's a situation. You're planning on using the robot remains of General Not Maxon to try to trace back to the original General Maxon, because it had been linked to him, probably in order to provide information that allowed it to fake him so well. You just finished calibrating the laboratory's computer systems to be able to essentially do like a blind reconnect that would allow you to hopefully be able to trace and locate wherever the other signal is without letting them know that you're reconnecting, if all goes well. That said, there is some risk in it. You're ready to activate it and try it out. Once you do, you'll know the location, but there's a very good chance that unless you do amazingly well, the villains will know that you know too, so you'll have to be ready to leap into action when you do the thing. So that's essentially the situation. That said, Astrochimp and Gravistar, between the two of you, you've got some solid technology skills. What sort of big mitigating thing do you have designed to help that you've been working up waiting for this progress bar to finish to, we'll kind of count it like an inventor gadget roll thing with a good chunk of time with a hand wavium involved for some of the details. But what have you cooked up in order to help you do this as well as you can and give you a little bit of an edge on this?
Some sort of nullify senses.
Oh, hold on. I want you to do this as in like you're briefing the team on what you're doing.
All right, okay.
You've just explained, all right, so once we turn this on, we should be able to trace General Maxon, but we don't know if they'll be able to they might know too, so you have to be ready. And then that's when you step in with what you say now.
I turn to Gravister while I'm operating the devices. Doctor, you're better at communicating with laymen. I will let you take the lead on.
Right. Well, essentially what we did was we built a back filter into this that hopefully any back tracing they try to do, back this way is rebounded back on them, concealing our presence.
What?
Kind of like a
What?
triple relayed internet connection.
Yes. And we've also set up some fake servers. Most of them have they get redirected to a Nutella site. It's lot of coding, big words, but don't worry, it'll work just fine.
So we can find him? Should we get on our way?
Absolutely. Any time wasted is more time he has to spend, potentially even with a bandana in his mouth.
So what you can do is actually operate the laboratory equipment remotely, if you like, patch it into some of your own equipment, and everyone can be sitting in the new Justicar.
Shotgun.
Driving.
I'll take the back, I guess.
I'll sit with ya.
Maybe we can play cards or something.
Ether, are you bringing your primary sleeve with you?
Ew. I hate it. Yes, I am. And then when we get out of the thing to do what we want to do, I'll probably just leave her buckled in.
Okay. Are you taking any special equipment or armor or something for the thing?
Am I able to do that?
There's
are
probably
all
some
of
basic gear and body armor and stuff like at the base. So I think you could take something basic if you wanted to. That's not on your character and borrow it. I think that would make sense and fit within the scope of having an HQ to rely on. We'll say protection rating up to +6. Though it wouldn't stack with other existing protection, but if you don't have it for your meat body, then
Okay.
you got like a helmet and like some nice body armor, a little bit higher tech than what is normally on the market because, well, you're the Justicars. It's probably invented by Astro Chimp.
Got his seal of approval somewhere.
Oh, okay, just a franchise then, but okay, it's still good stuff.
All right, he's gonna look at Gravstar and say, "Doctor, shall we initiate the sequence?" It's basically asking for that decision.
I think I heard him say yes.
Okay.
So here's how it's gonna go. Once you fire this off, it's going to create this connection, hopefully back to where whatever was connected to General Maxon before that you can trace and get that. So that said, it's going to be important on how you do this. You might only get one chance to do one thing. So if you want to team up, you can do one and then the other, or you can split to have one of you do one thing and the other do the other. And what these two important tasks are, which are potentially mutually exclusive to finishing the mission, but maybe both are vital. Well, one is certainly vital, and that is using the trace to locate wherever they were broadcasting with General Maxon from. Hopefully to locate General Maxon so you have a place to go and rescue him from. Is that clear?
Clear.
Okay. Number 2, the other one is to have them not know that you know. So they can't counter trace you or know that you're coming after them or move him or do something. So the ideal option is if you can pull off a simultaneous hack where each one of you handles one and the other, and the other handles one of you handles one, the other handles the other. But you have more assured success of doing at least one thing if you really focus on doing that first, and then do the other if you have time. So what's it gonna be?
One second. I wonder if we can put some extra effort into this.
I will tell you, I guess, up front as a GM, that the trace difficulty is going to be a 25. The not get spotted difficulty is going to be a 35.
All right, I'm gonna tell Gravster. Gravster, I think the tracing doesn't appear to be too difficult. I shall handle that myself, and I would suggest you get ready for assist on the hiding our doohickey, hiding our signal.
I was actually thinking if we do it 2-pronged at one time, I could probably handle the trace if you want to handle the screen.
Also a good idea. Let's go with that.
Okay, these are both going to be straight up technology skill tests. Is there anything else that anyone, besides the two of you, wants to or is able to do to help influence this as well? Because,
you said we're trying to not get seen?
They're firing up some sort of technology hooked up to this like robot corpse of General Maxon that Optimist made sure didn't blow up. They need to trace it, but also hopefully not let them know it's being traced. So it looks like Gravistar is going to handle the stealth, and Astro Chimp is going to handle the search, or is it the other way around? The stealth is DC 35, the search is DC 25. Oh, so I think we have Gravistar on the search and Astro Chimp on the stealth.
Yep.
If it helps, I have Inspire, 5 levels of Inspire as one of my powers or advantages. What?
What did that do?
So I can spend a hero point to grant allies a +1 circumstance bonus per rank, and I have 5 ranks of Inspire.
Does that work on skills?
It doesn't say. Not in my piece, anyway.
Okay, why don't you double check on that while we see,
Sure.
Ether, do you have a way to help in this?
I actually do have at least I have 4 in tech, so that's not awful. I can try to help out wherever they need an extra hand or an extra pair of eyes.
If you can hit a 10 on your skill check roll for a tech skill check, you can choose to give a +2 to one or the other of them.
Just kidding. You got a 5.
Okay. So you're like trying to give some advice, but then you realize that it's a different operating system that you're completely used to, and the things that you're saying just don't fit the icons on the screen that you thought they meant. And like they're politely not pointing out that you're just completely showing your absolute ignorance of this system. But you all realize it, and it's a little awkward. How do you handle this?
It's on checks.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It's on all checks.
This is for Astro Chimp and Gravistar mostly, as Ether is trying to give advice initially that is very obviously showing her ignorance.
I just make a quick note of teach the Justicars how to code. and then I'll take that inspiration. I guess is it for both of us or just one person?
So Core is helping with the Inspire. That's a +5 to, I think it helps everybody in the team, right?
Yes, it allows everybody to get her Inspire rank on all checks for this round.
Awesome. But Ether tried to help and I think rolled a 1. And so kind of embarrassed herself a little bit. I want to focus, because it's dramatically interesting, on how Ether handles this embarrassing moment. Even though Astro Chimp and Gravistar are too polite to make it too embarrassing. So Ether, how do you respond when you realize that like you've been just not telling them the right things to do, and they kind of know it, but they're too polite to point it out?
I'll just stop. I'm not gonna I'm just gonna kind of stop and kind of back off of it and not say anything anymore with that.
Okay.
I feel like they might get the hint.
Yeah, everybody gets the hint. They know what happened here, right? You just goofed on your technology roll. You tried to help. You meant well. You just didn't know what you were talking about, unfortunately.
I smile awkwardly at her.
All right, so moving on. You've got the hookup. We're ready to go. Optimist, are you doing something to help? You have some sort of like...
Core had taken the lead on encouraging folks, and so that would have been all the things I could have done. And so I'm just pleased as punch. No, I'm proud. I consider it a great honor when people do things that I think that should have been done.
Okay, so yeah, you watch and you're proud as Core steps up and says some words, and she seems confident about herself in a way that she might not have been before, saving time-space by turning into a giant, monkey and all that stuff, or chimpanzee, sorry. And yeah, you just feel this sense of pride that these people are growing, right? They're doing so well, and you're just getting started. But then you see Ether kind of in the corner, just kind of feeling a bit down and awkward. You didn't quite follow all that tech stuff they were talking about, but you don't think you kind of got the sense of she tried to say something to help, and it just didn't work. And they didn't shun her or anything, but she you figure out kind of what happens on an emotional, if not a technological level. As we're waiting for the final rolls, are you going to what are you doing since you don't have the onus of inspiring Astro Chimp and Gravistar?
Well, I'll walk over to Aether and say, I sometimes try to help out, and it doesn't always go the way I want it to. But that's not what really makes you a hero. The fact is, you tried to help. Whether you helped or not, you tried, and that's what makes a hero.
All right. Do you have some sort of a skill or a power that would help you do this without coming off awkwardly?
I have teamwork, leadership, inspire, and the literal power of hope.
All right, I think a dice roll is unnecessary at that point. Then. Opti comes up to you, and most people, that might come off as you're just trying to make me feel better. But with him, it's it seems super genuine because it is, and it's he's right, and it just makes you feel better in a cathartic way that it might not otherwise. So.
And also, I can sense emotions, so I feel like I got a lot going for me.
So Ether, how are you feeling after this? After he approaches you to talk to you about this?
I would have seemingly cheered up a bit, not looked like I was just oh god, this is not gonna work. More of along the lines of, oh, okay, you're right, and just because I wouldn't feel like he's putting me down or anything like that, because he was the first one of this group that I knew, so I know he's just like that.
I hope way down the line, it's not going to be revealed that she actually never really wanted to be a hero in the first place. She just didn't want to let the Optimist down, and so she's pretending and waiting for the right moment.
Ether,
I just
like,
felt bad for you the whole time.
It's like, oh my god, this guy.
And Ether, we're gonna do a little bit of flashback moment to your past with an old gang when you were in your original body, and they're planning on doing some sort of a computer hack in order to break into a place and steal something. This old gang that you used to run with, and you had an idea to bring it for the tech, and you botched your roll on that too. And this felt just like that, so it reminds you of this. And you're thinking of this moment where you said something and like they just totally made fun of you like crazy. So how did that go down? Like, who was there and what did they say?
I'd say one of the people that had been part of it longer than I had might have just kind of watched me do something wrong, even though they knew what the right thing to do would have been. I'm not sure what which memory you're getting at with
her name was Stryker, Stryker.
Edgy.
She was an edgy badass with a really, really like tight physique, and she'd wear super skin tight clothes to show it off, and sneak into places and steal things, and no one would know she was there. And she was pretty awesome, and also kind of hot.
In an edgy way.
the edgiest.
Yeah, sorry. Is that awkward if I say it that way? Because, like, I don't mean to be.
No.
It's a more general way, so. Okay.
We've all got awkward going on tonight. It's cool.
Awesome. Thank
Justicars,
you.
the most awkward, powerful heroes.
We want to save the world.
You can have sexy comic book characters without objectifying them, right?
Sure, as long as they're
My
edgy.
excuse is
Astro Chimp is probably
below in
the.
space.
I was gonna say Astro Chimp is the prime example of our sexy hero.
Okay.
Hot.
Hot.
Okay. Yeah, and she just took this moment to step up and just rip into you. Like, you don't actually know what you're doing, do you? What are you doing here?
Yeah, at that point in time, I would have kind of just been like, dirty look at her and just kind of not really respond.
She
it would have
walked
been-
over. Then she turned. I'm sorry, I interrupted. I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
No, it's totally fine. Go ahead.
So she turned away and walked to the others where they figured out the thing that they needed to do with the computer hacking. And, like, they both sort of, like, you saw them, like, turn and look and snicker at you. And you could tell they were, like, laughing at you and making fun. And you look over at Astro Chimp and Gravistar, and you don't get that vibe at all. It's like they were trying to, like, not draw attention to the fact that you didn't really know what you meant. And they were trying to cover for you and kind of give you a smile and a wave. And it feels nice. It's an interesting contrast.
Yeah, I'll definitely like note that. Not like physically, but mentally. I don't have a notepad.
All right, and with that, let's do the dice rolls. First of all, let's do the second, well, maybe the second most important one first. The don't get traced stealthy hacking roll. This is Astro Chimp rolling a D20 plus technology. You could not normally do a routine roll on this. And Opti, what's that?
Before we do that, what does Core say to inspire us?
You weren't going to let me get out of that one, were you?
Nope.
All right, guys.
Oh, I assumed it was a magical energy or something, but yeah, let's hear the speech.
All right. So do all the smart things that you do, and we'll handle the rest because we're a team. We're just a family.
That sounds absolutely right.
I'm gonna facepalm, but am slightly inspired.
I'm almost inclined to give you a -2 on the roll for that, but that feels a little bit mean. So
It's okay. I'm angry at myself
you
right
don't
now.
have to roll anyway. So yeah,
I
she
just
like
dad
says
joked
this,
myself out of here.
and it seems like it should be silly, but you're like you just all feel like, yeah, that's great, and just the mood goes with it. It's just so sweet and endearing and earnest, right? It's not like somebody trying to like fake some speech to like rah you up. This is a bunch of good people who have done good things, and you're ready to do it again. So you have a +5 to your skill checks.
Right.
So now I have to change the headline. So instead of being the Justice League or the Avengers, we're more like the Super Friends.
I'm okay with that.
Well done, chums!
What's your favorite kind of cheese? This kind of cheese.
Oh! I make myself
Mic drop.
a grilled
Make that
encouragement
shirt.
sandwich.
All right, so Astro Chimp, make your stealth roll with the +5. I do have to step away for just a moment. I'll be right back.
The stealth or technology. Right. With like sparkles in his eyes, and everybody sees Astro Chimp with the t-shirt he just made. He just put it on because he was so inspired.
Lang, are you going to Gen Con? Because, like, we need these t-shirts.
No, that's a little too far away.
No!
Well, if anybody is going to Gen Con, I know that a few of us will be there. Come say hi to your favorite Justicar, and maybe we'll get t-shirts made of you. Disclaimer, probably not, but you could get pictures, and then you could make those shirts. And then we would definitely show them on the show.
We could just print outs of those papers that have like the t-shirt drawn on them, and then just like make stick figures and stuff and pretend like it's a real shirt.
All right, I'm back. Astro Chimp, with your +5 inspired bonus on your technology roll, did you hit the 35 you needed with Core's cheesy awesome sauce?
All right. I got a 36, and if that's +5, that'll be 41.
Oh yeah, you would have just skated by, but like you just feel more confident about yourself, and you think about when Core like chose you to be what she turned into, to like kick some ass and save time space. Like, man, that feels good. Like you're not just this like weird animal that's alone in the universe. At least you don't feel like that in this moment, and you pull it off really well. You see a number of different systems that are trying to like set up inquiries, and you pull off a stealth connection that should not alert them at all that you're attempting to let it through. So it should hopefully allow Gravistar all the time he needs to pull off the trace. In the meantime, Gravistar, this is a pretty tough job. I mean, you're smart. You know your way around computers, but Core helps to kind of bolster your confidence that, yeah, you've been through tough stuff before. You've stopped Monarch. You've got your base back. This is your town. And damn it, you're going to save General Maxon like you saved that military base. And you feel good about yourself, and you have a +5 on your tech roll, even though Ether's suggestions, you wisely don't follow them and attempt to run those programs. Give me your technology roll. You need a 25 to be able to trace the location or get some sort of a fix on General Maxon once this is activated.
Yeah, well, I managed to get a 28, and that was with the +5 added in. So I did do it.
With the help of teamwork and friendship. All right, so yeah, there's a little bit of a moment goes by, and your Optimist and Ether are sort of having their moment together, and you look over as Astrochim and Gravistar hear a beep and look up at each other, and it looks like you kind of give each other a little bit of a nod and share a moment, and you realize each of the other has pulled off what you set out to do. And you turn to the computer system, and you're able to quickly pull off a trace and get the location of General Maxon, which is only a few kilometers south of town, the location of an abandoned cheese factory.
Really?
Why not?
Good.
I never liked cheese.
That's why all we have
why.
access to is craft singles.
Okay, so you've got that location. They should not know that you know that. Whatever. They shouldn't know that you know what you know. I'm trying to make it more complicated than it is, but it really ends there, so it's a lot kind of anticlimactic. But there you are in the Justicars, ready to go, and you've got a target location. If you'd like, you can leave this location or leave this connection open, which eventually they'll notice. But it might let you do things or find out more or keep a trace on or get more information or something. Each time you try to do something, there's more risk. So are you going to keep the connection open to General Maxon or cut it now and go rescue him? I mean, you could do it while you're on the way because of your wireless hacking stuff, because why not?
What do you guys think?
I think we just keep it open and get over there as fast as we.
All right, we're going to say it's a distance of 10 kilometers from where you are now. How long does it take you guys to get there in the Justicars?
How fast is a Justicar?
Well, it's still basically, unless you put points in or do something funky, it's the same stats as the original Justicars. It just has potential due to, the future technology installed in it that you don't necessarily know how to work yet. So I think Bob did most of the design work on the HQ stuff. Did you have any stats on a Justicar?
Yeah, I don't have it memorized. I think it does at least a flight of 7, which is 250 miles an hour, but I think it's even faster.
Okay, so we're talking like a minute or so at the most to get there. As you go opening up the hangar bay doors and go flying out of the HQ, zooming up and across the city and arcing out towards your target objective, just outside of town. Your vehicle itself, the front of it is like showing this sort of nimbus of kind of bright red as the superheated atmosphere is causing friction up against the front of the Justicar, though the craft itself remains completely cool. Even the exterior temperature readings on the hull seem to be fairly stable, even maybe just slightly warmer. So it seems like maybe oh crap, what was Jules' character's name again?
Pleiades.
Pleiades, yes. It seems like Pleiades did some funky stuff to the alloys that she used for the hull on this, and it's holding up just fine. And less than a minute later, you find yourself rushing down to the location of the abandoned cheese factory. It doesn't look like anyone's there. It looks abandoned. There's one larger building and a few other smaller ones, most of which have kind of fallen in on themselves. It has the look of an overgrown, unused, kind of old, rotted, no longer employed industrial location. There are no cars parked here or anything. Who's piloting?
Yeah, that's me.
So how are you approaching then?
So first off, Estrogen is kind of turning around on the Justicar, but he's not going to tell anybody that. But he's going to pretty much turn to Opti and he'll turn to Optimist and say, "So you gonna go in strong, or you gonna be sneaky about it?"
Well, I wouldn't mind going in strong, just to let the general know that we care about him. But I also wouldn't mind causing as little ruckus as possible. I just think that if we made a big fuss and busted in, then he would get a real good sense that, hey, we care, and it was a big deal for us to come rescue him.
If you'd like, I could sneak in and find his location, and then and then you guys know exactly where to head to and can make a big fuss.
That sounds awesome.
Tactical thinking, I like it.
All right, so Cora, you're flying through into the the building, the factory that was a cheese factory. The machines have since been mostly stripped and shut down, or covered up, or have rotted away, and it's mostly dusty and empty. But give me a perception test and also a stealth roll.
All right, I need to do that in my insect form.
Ether, you're leaving your body back in the Justicar.
I am.
Are you assisting with this stealthy checking things out, or are you gonna? It kind of seems right up your alley as well.
Yeah, the stealthy stuff's up my alley, so yeah, I'll definitely assist with that.
Thanks.
All right, so
Oh, see, we became friends.
Ether, give me a perception test as well. As you go insubstantial, leaving your body strapped in back in the
30.
And you can see that there are a total of 6 different chrysalis, like the soldier type dudes, hanging around and patrolling up here. They seem to be guarding what looks like a freight elevator that must go deeper within the facility. What the hell is up with this cheese factory?
I don't know why it rolled a 2, but
All right, and so Cora, you're starting to move around and maneuver in, and then I guess Ether, you've already done the scouting. Then how are you going to let Cora know that she's about to walk into a factory full of alert chrysalis operatives?
I'm going to try to use the little device that we put in everybody's suits and try to make 6 beeps.
Okay, you do the beeps. What message does it convey? What simple message do you communicate?
Oh, I was just using it to make beeps. You said there's 6 people, so I'm just trying to make the 6 beeps so that she would know that there's 6 of them.
Okay, so you're trying to communicate to her, who has never really practiced with this or anything, that there are 6 people in here that she needs to worry about. That
Right.
sounds kind of difficult. Give me a power check. With your electromagnetics power manipulation stuff. So
Sure.
just roll a d20 and add like your power effect level with that. And that's going to reduce the difficulty of Cora to figure out what the heck you're trying to tell her.
Let me find my power.
So yeah, Cora, you like the thing beeps a bunch, and it's like, oh yeah, you're right, Ether's trying to tell me something. And you've got 6 beeps to go on. So let's see. Let's use some dice to figure out whether or not you know what that means. Because
26.
Sarah heard exactly from Whitney what that means. All
Right.
So with a 26, yeah, you think that works pretty well. You do the thing. Core, the thing beeps and like it triggers a certain predetermined thing that Astrochimp had programmed did to help like translate this stuff, and Ether figures out how to tweak that whatchamajigger. So now it's up to you to figure out what she meant. I think a perception test would work, but if you've got something else, let me know.
perception works, or intelligence. Insight, maybe?
Ooh, insight. That's perfect. Yes, that seems ideal. I'm trying to figure out what Ether's trying to tell you, though.
28.
She's a ghostly form at the moment. With a 28, you're like, oh, 6 beeps. She went scouting. There must be 6 enemies in there. That's what she's trying to tell you. You get the message through, and you're confident it's correct. Just like you would be if you'd rolled a 1. But, you're right, actually, because you rolled higher, so. No surprises there. So, yeah, before you even move into the room, you know that there are like a half a dozen bad guys in there watching, and you're able to, I think, shrink down to something and stealth in a little bit to at least get an initial glimpse, and you don't even see them in there anywhere, except for a couple of guys who are fairly close to the entrance that you're coming in from.
Okay. Yeah, I shrink myself down to the size of a fruit fly, and I sneak my way in. And I'm pretty confident in my my ability to sneak at this size, so I'm gonna continue to try what I promised I would do and find.
You give me a stealth roll. You're going to get a bonus based on your size here. Do you happen to know explicitly what that bonus is?
Yes, I have a plus 22 for a beetle, so...
Okay, so you're kind of big for a fruit fly, but still that helps you sneak. So go ahead and give me a dice roll for that, unless you're allowed to make routine rolls in stress for some reason. Like Astro Chimp can with some stuff.
I'm real glad I had that plus 22 with that roll of 7, so it's 29.
All right, with the 29, you're able to buzz on in and through past the initial couple of guys who were hanging out near the entrance that you come in through. There's another entrance to this place that seems to be fairly open. The rest are kind of blocked off or boarded up or otherwise relatively inaccessible. There's 2 guys near that one, and then there's that freight elevator thing that has the 2 guys guarding. So it looks like the guards are in pairs. None of them seem to have noticed you.
All right, I keep going on my search for the general.
Well, you'll probably have to go down the elevator shaft.
No problem, I'm teeny.
All right, as this scouting is going on, Optimist and Gravistar and Astro Chimp are kind of hanging out outside in or near the Justicars. I imagine you landed somewhere nearby and then maybe got near on foot. But what is your position currently? What are we seeing as we see the panel of you all sort of waiting to find out how things go with Core and Ether?
I think maybe I would be coordinating with Gravistar, being that we both have some powerhouse powers, and saying something like, "Hey, do you want to try out that new teamwork move we were thinking about?" And of course,
opportunity for it.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about calling it the Optigravy. No, we'll have to keep workshopping that name.
Hop, do you need sleep?
Corey, you're sneaking in the facility right now.
Hopty, you need sleep.
I'd rather get
Astro Chimp is out there as well, though.
Yeah, he's kind of going through his gadgets. Should I turn big again? Should I turn small this time? They're just waiting for the to smash in. Oh, and he will ask Gravistar, "Hey, Doctor, can this Justicar can I ram it into the building? Is it gonna survive?"
It's tough, but no, it's not built to ram, as the girl from the future found out when she drove it into the moon.
Chimp makes a little note of put ramp on car. But yeah, just waiting to hear back from Core and Ether.
How's Optimist handling the waiting?
He doesn't particularly like waiting, but he also trusts his teammates, and he's currently busy workshopping a different name for the team-up move that him and Gravistar are working on.
So we have a panel of the Optimist looking determined and a little thought bubble.
Right. He's got the thinking man
names
phase
listed. Right. The hasty noodle. No, that doesn't work. And then I don't know.
Hey, although I don't have an idea.
Yeah, give it to me.
Can Astro open up a gateway to Core's location once she has it?
I don't know exactly what he's capable of. He surprises me at every turn.
Well, I don't have a gadget like that currently ready, but I could work on it.
I could theoretically do it if I fold space and time just right. Not that I've ever tried it.
Oh, you should totally try it.
I'm
Sounds
sure
fun.
it'll work out fine.
Yeah, the Astro Shimp completely encourages Gravistar to teleport him and Optimist into that place.
And for completely different reasons, Optimus is like, yes, that's a good idea. Because he just believes in Gravistar.
I'm just interested in seeing what's gonna happen.
But considering it's not very far, you could probably whip up a teleportation gadget within the PowerPoint constraints of your skill and the time available with your speed bubble. Is that what you want to do with your time?
Yep, that's all I'm gonna do.
Okay, work it up and make your skill test. Though I imagine the 10 plus is probably enough for the take 10.
I usually do it inside my routine checks. I don't have to make checks.
All right, so we cut back to Core and Ether, who has scouted out the essentially ground floor of this place. Looks like there's some sort of a basement thing, and that if it's true that General Maxon is here, he must be down there in the basement or whatever.
All right, I'm gonna keep going.
Same. Zzz.
All right, you head down in the basement and find that there are two more of these guys guarding the elevator in the downstairs level, which is mostly kind of a larger open space with some pillars. It's dark, poorly lit, fairly wet. Though there's a myriad of unusual different machinery around that's casting unusual and eerie glows in different locations, and there's different tubes and wires and conduits around. Toward the back of the room are a number of different pods that are wired up to, it looks like different computer systems and consoles. A lot of it looks like custom job jury rigs, but fairly expensive and high-level tech stuff. And there is it looks like Gravistar is there with his back to you, and he's currently working at one of the consoles. Give me a stealth roll for both of you.
31.
Never mind, Ether, you're just not going to get detected. Never mind. So,
I got 31.
Okay.
well, with your 31, that's good enough. It doesn't seem like he's noticed either of you at this point.
I wish in my bug form I could reach out to someone and be like, did someone send him ahead?
I'm gonna actually kind of. I mean, he can't see me anyway, so I'm gonna kind of go see if I can look at what he's working on, because my thought process is kind of right now going to that's kind of weird. We just left him behind, but I don't really know all of his powers because I've only known him for a little while. So let's see what's going on.
Okay, as you move up to look over his shoulder, looks like he's working on something on a computer system, and it's hard to tell what it is. There's lots of data flowing past. It's fairly unfamiliar, user interface. Do you have you do have a technology skill to roll though, so let's see if it helps you this time instead of hindering.
20.
Oh, with a 20, you're like, oh. Okay, so you're picking up a few fragments of this and that. None of it is something you can terribly understand or would know how to use easily. But you're able to figure out that, yes, indeed, this system is hooked up to these other devices. It's monitoring them and connect them to other systems. There is actually some other larger computer system that this is further connected to, which gives you the impression there's some other nearby facility, or maybe it's wirelessly connected to some other thing somewhere that this is also wired up to somehow. But this person's using it for what it looks like they're essentially calibrating it to connect these people up to machines and use their memories and abilities and start recording that and backing it up and essentially keeping them unconscious but making use of them. Besides General Maxon, there are more people here, but you don't even know which one is General Maxon of the 4 different subjects that are currently being kept in these pods.
Okay, so obviously right now I'm assuming that's not Gravistar.
It doesn't, like, as you get closer and start looking at him, you see his face is a bit different, the shape of his body is slightly different. The general appearance, like, if you saw them both 100 yards away, like right next to each other, you probably couldn't pick them apart. But from, like, up close, you're telling, like, yeah, this is a different person who looks like they're the same thing as Gravistar.
May I make an insight roll?
For what end?
To identify if this is Gravistar or not, since I can't see what he's working on. And
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, 35.
Yeah, from stance and general build and vibiness, you're like, that's not Gravistar. It kind of looks like him, but that's like the same kind of alien whatever Gravistar might have turned into, but that's not him.
I know my friend.
Are we hearing this? I don't know. I guess she doesn't.
This is while they're sort of stealthed up ahead. So, and you guys are discuss some things, and Astro Chimp has whipped up a doohickey.
I find this fascinating. Out of character. Okay, continue on.
So, Gravistar's in here. Is anyone else in here still no General Maxon?
You don't see any people, but there are some pods that might house them.
And there were people out in the hallway.
Yeah, there's essentially like the freight elevator comes down here. And there's a short hall that's open that opens up in a larger room where it's like a mad scientist laboratory with computers and, you know, space pods.
And a couple people in there.
There's 2 guards that are just near the freight elevator, and there's 6 upstairs in the former cheese factory. Pardon the noise here. Big highway by my house. I don't know if you can hear that. It was really loud on my end.
I'm gonna go ahead and fly over to one of the pods and kind of get myself behind it and out of sight of
Give me a
the
stealth
not.
roll.
Sure. It's a 2, but it's plus 22, so 24.
All right, give me a fortitude defense roll.
Uh-oh. 8.
Oh man. Crap, I have to look up the thing now. It's more than 1.
You're welcome, guys.
So either you see like Cora start to fly over to the thing, and she doesn't seem to notice, but not Gravistar sort of looks over in her direction all of a sudden while she's got her back turned and holds up his hand, and some sort of like there's some sort of unseen energy flow that happens, and it's affecting her a lot. She's sort of flattened down to the ground. Looks like when Gravistar uses gravity power on people.
I'm gonna actually try to cause some sort of diversion while he's doing that. I'm going to try to disrupt the electrical system that he was working on when he's turned away from it, to try to get his attention back away from it.
And is that a skill check for you, or a power check, or a save on behalf of whatever the thing is?
Skill check? No. Wait, yeah, it is. Okay, electrical disruption. I have it.
All right, go and roll for that. And yeah, I guess Core, you feel immense gravity just totally pulling you down. You're basically you're hindered, immobile, and defenseless.
Oh, well. Help.
Technically, you're not vulnerable because, hindered, immobile, and defenseless. Yep. You have no movement speed.
And I'm still
your
in
defenses
fruit
are
fly.
0. You're prone. And I guess, yeah, you could still take actions, but not actions involving moving.
Okay. So, and I'm still in fruit fly form. Then it didn't knock me out of that.
Well, you're kind of a beetle-sized fruit fly, but yeah, you're like squished down to that right now. You're kind of a somewhat squashed fruit fly. You don't take damage though, so that's the good news.
Phew.
That said, gosh, this seems like a time for an initiative roll.
Let's do this!
Let's have everybody roll an initiative roll, even though some of you are kind of waiting to figure out what's going on down there.
Got a 30.
And we'll skip whoever's unaware at this point.
20 for me.
26.
All right, Ether, how about you?
12.
And Gravistar, the real Gravistar.
19.
Okay, so the first person to go in this is Core. You've been pinned to the ground.
I can't do anything, right?
You can take actions. Your just defenses are at 0. You can't move. You're prone.
And my shape-shifting is based off of my movement. Let's see. I can light up.
Maybe if you get bigger, the gravity won't affect you as much. I don't know.
Well, to change form though is movement, so I can't use that, right? It's movement
a
for
move
me.
action to change form, but that's not actually moving. That's just using a move action. So yeah, I apologize if I gave you the impression you couldn't take move actions in general. I just meant you can't move, like to move your character from one location to another.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll.
With gravity holding you down.
It knows I'm there, so I'll move into pixie form so I can at least alert the others, or like try to communicate, or not get squashed if they come barreling into the room.
All right, sorry. One more time. What are you doing to get out of this?
I'm changing just into pixie form for now, just so that I can.
Okay, you change into your pixie form and find yourself a flattened pixie against the floor.
Yep.
The gravity is still affecting you. You still have a standard action left. Cannot move.
All right. I will. I'll try one thing. I can do an entangle spell in my pixie form.
Okay, you formed the spell in your mind. Doesn't require to move. You sort of like struggle to turn your head to see where you want it to go. And is that a skill roll or anything for you, or just a save from him?
It looks like. Resisted by dodge, overcome by damage.
What's the difficulty?
I think that it's the difficulty. Sorry, what was that?
10 plus your power level. Or the effect level of the power, I should say.
Then I think it'd be 13.
Okay, so what does your spell look like as it reaches out towards him?
As it does, the area around him kind of starts to thicken and materialize, and these vines start to reach out and grasp.
He sort of waves away the vines and like kicks away at them, and they don't seem strong enough to hold him. He made his resistance roll against it. And you're still kind of laying there flattened against the ground, helpless.
Yep.
Or defenseless, I should say. I'm not sure if there's a separate helpless status. I don't see one, but oh well. Moving on. Next we have Ether.
I'm looking for somebody to inhabit. You said there's cages with people in.
There are these like pods that might have people in them. You haven't actually looked in them yet, though you could if you like did your astral form scouting, passing through walls and stuff thing.
I'm gonna start checking out those. I'm worried about Core, but this is probably a better way to help her.
Okay, the first one you look in, you see a rather familiar form. You've only seen this person, like pictures of them, and were briefly introduced here and there, maybe by Opti. But his emaciated, unconscious form is not immediately recognizable as him. But that said, you do recognize it. That in this pod is the body of General Maxon, and he's got like stuff hooked up to him, like this weird like metal thing on his head that's got tubes and wires and conduits connected, and he's strapped down, and there's like IVs plugged into here and there, and some sort of like disturbing apparatus attached to his lower body that must be taking care of his number ones and number twos.
Okay.
It's all quite thorough. Looks like he would be ripe for inhabiting, but maybe not so useful when you get in there unless you can somehow get out of the restraints. It's likely that anybody else in one of these pods is similarly restrained.
Okay.
We'll say that takes up a move action for you to like look in and figure that all out.
Alrighty.
You still have a standard action and free action stuff. Are you doing anything else? Keep in mind the rest of the team is probably unaware of what's happening at this point.
At this point in time, I'm not doing it. Unless do those devices that we hooked up for them, would they be hooked to our communication devices?
Yeah, you could probably like send a message of some kind through those devices. What do you want to send? What message do you want to say?
Well, right now, all I know is how to beep on there, so it's just going to be a series of beeps, just kind of like in very
standard action of
rapid.
beeping. What's the message you're trying to get through with your beepy powers?
There's trouble. Maybe you guys should come in. So, like, just frantic beeping.
Okay, trouble, come help. It sounds fairly simple. So I'm gonna skip the skill test roll. Let's just say between Opti and Astrochimp, who's just finished working up the doohickey, and who else is out there? I'm missing somebody.
Gravistar?
Gravistar, yes, sorry. Yes, the real Gravistar. You're all getting that information. Give me an insight check to figure out if you know what the heck the frantic beeping means. This
I
is
got
only a
23 with a crit.
okay, yeah, DC 15. So you're like, oh, they need help. She worked in the SOS and everything.
I want to, are we going by initiative turn?
And then you guys will be able to go next turn. However, on 10 of this turn, not Gravistar walks over to the flattened pixie on the ground, raises his big-ass booted foot, and brings it on down on the shapeshifter who is into the floor.
No! Hold on.
So
Maybe
so
I can
go-
stop it somehow.
go ahead and make a toughness save to not die when you're stomped on. That would be you, Core.
Got it. I'm looking at my character sheets. More than one. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, that's a 15.
All right. That's a fail by 18.
Ouch.
So you're basically stepped on and squooshed and essentially more or less critically injured, if not dead. So what form do you have now that you've been stomped on and squished? Are you like a squished pixie, or do you turn into your like original form, like unconscious and wounded? How does this go down?
Well, so just for dramatic comic book effect, as the boot hits me, there's like a blast of light as I take my regular form, and the silver branch skitters across the floor away from me.
Okay. It's sort of laying there, like, kind of like, if you look at it, it's got this sort of drawing effect. It just makes you want to stare at it, and it sort of seems to glow, almost like you're playing like Skyrim or something, and it's an item of interest. It's got this silvery magical glow or glamour to it.
I see it as a single tear rolls down, and I close my eyes.
Yeah, no, you don't. You're unconscious. The last thing you saw was the boot coming down.
Fair enough.
All right, so you're basically, if it ever matters, you're -1 to further like damage soak rolls, but you're basically like out of the fight unless something heals you. You're squooshed.
Okay. I wish I had a syringe.
Yeah, but you used that, didn't you?
I very much did.
Asterisk, which at the bottom of the page says "See Killing Time," issue 1 of 2. Anyway, moving on. I guess to the next round. First up is Astro Chimp. You got the SOS. You know they're in trouble. What do? You got the teleportation thing worked up. You can triangulate based on their positions if you want to.
Yeah, so I would need to know the exact location. So I'm going to try to triangulate using, I guess, a technology roll. Would that be okay? Usually it's you have to do a perception.
Yeah, let's call it a technology roll to use their communicator systems and whatever to like, and based on other extrapolations and sensors and.
I assume a 36 routine would be fine.
Yeah, with the 36, with a move action, you're able to like. Yep, there's the location.
All right,
all aboard.
Yeah, I take my take the device you just created, and I hold my hand out and I say, "Justicars, hold hands."
Oh yeah, I'm all in.
Okay, so then Opti on 26, then Core is unconscious, then Ether on 12. Wait, no, Gravistar's on that. So we'll have all you guys can more or less go down to everybody but Ether, who's waiting on 12 and already in the situation, sort of, and Core, who's unconscious. So Astro Chimp, Opti, and Gravistar can all kind of go on 19, though Astro Chimp's maneuver is to fire off the teleport.
And we're like, this is like a team building exercise where we're all like physically touching each other and not being awkward about it.
All right, so Astro Chimp, who gets teleported?
I'm enjoying it.
All three of us.
So there's a flash, and the panel shows another flash with the like it's a B, capital B, then lowercase d, S, H, 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 exclamation point. Like above the bright flash where the teleport happens, and that's where you see this dude who looks just like Gravistar go, huh? And he's sort of stepping back, and like down on the ground is the broken, battered form of Pixie with this sort of blood pool around her as she's bleeding out, possibly dead.
Esther Chimp was still wearing the T-shirt with them fist bumping, dramatically says no.
All right, so I guess Opti first, then Gravistar. You have used your move actions already, but you still have your standard actions left.
Seeing Core laying on the floor has created some more...
Stop it!
He doesn't know what it's all for. He's going to attack these Gravistars who aren't his Gravistar.
Which one?
Yeah, how many of them? I know at least 2.
There's the one you came with, so there's the one he brung, and then there's the other one.
Oh, there's just one other one. I am.
Yeah, there's not like a multitude of them like Xander.
Okay, so there's just one other guy.
Just one extra this time.
All right, so
it should be easy, right?
I'm so discouraged at seeing my teammate in this state that I'm going to temporarily lose myself and make a power attack in which I am not trying to hold back on this guy. So I'm going to throttle this guy with some hope. Which means I'm taking a -5 to hit him, but the damage will be an additional 5.
Okay, let's see if you can hit with your yeet of hope. No,
that's it. Grab a yeet. We'll have to work on that later. Oh my gosh, yeah! So that's a 30, but it'll bounce down to 25.
That definitely hits. He tried to like move out of the way, and as he moves, you see his face, the shape of it is different. That's definitely not a Gravistar, though he like his body, like the weird strappy things with the stars and stuff. It looks just like him. But it's not. Like it's a cousin of Gravistar or something.
Well, I'm gonna sort of give Gravistar a side look, like, do you know this guy? Like, what's going on here? I'm thoroughly confused and angry. But also, I just did a whopping 32 DC on this dude.
Wow.
Okay, so you blast him. He goes flying back, slams into the wall, slumps down to the ground, and just appears to be like falling over unconscious with like kind of smoke rising from his form. Looks like you got a really hard shot in there.
The smoke of hope. And then I shout out, Cord!
Gravistar, it's your turn. What are you doing next?
Alrighty, well, first I just look at Opti and say, good shot. And then I rush over to attend to Core. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it looks like she's been stepped on by something really big or squished by like you see those video games with the pillars that come down. Like, looks like she missed one of those important jumps. But you don't see any sign of what could have done this. Other than like the whole gravity smash squishy thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you move up to her with your standard action, and that pretty much that's all you can do, since your move action was to move into place to teleport. So I guess moving on to Ether, what are you doing?
I just realized I was on Touch to Talk. So I had peeked into that little chamber thing. Is what those the cables, there we go, that's the word. What are the cables connected to?
Well, there's this like headgear thing that cables are connected to, and like IV and plumbing stuff.
What are they connected to, though?
They're connected to like the pod's chassis itself, which is further connected to like some other doohickeys and like terminals and things like outside of the pods.
Okay, that's gonna take too long to get to. Okay, I'm gonna go back to where I came from, and I'm gonna try to mess with that panel again that he was on, see if I can really.
Okay, you move over to where that panel is and find that he is no longer there. He's been like knocked away somewhere. You don't quite see where Opti hit him to, or whoever hit him. But yeah, the computer is there with the display going and a bunch of information. It seems to be in like a pause state now, waiting for someone to give a command or hit enter or something.
Okay, rather than like just disrupt it, I'm gonna see if I can. Oh man, I'm not a tech person, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to see if I can at least get it out of whatever is holding these guys in this state. If that's what I assume is.
We were talking earlier. I'm not sure if it was before or during the stream about whether or not your power for electromagnetic field manipulation or whatever had the precise option.
Oh, that's right. I don't. So maybe I can just mess it up.
I was gonna say no. What I was gonna suggest is if you have a hero point, you could essentially buy yourself the precise option for the one action. If you don't have a hero point, you could still do it, but you're going to be fatigued afterwards, like mentally drained or, I don't know, something.
Okay, I'm actually just going to... Yeah, I don't have a hero point, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And I'll allow myself to be fatigued for whatever amount of time I...
Okay, so you draw your attention and focus and just really pour yourself into making this thing work the way you want it to. What's the outcome you would like to achieve if you succeed?
I would like it to release the people that are in the pods, or at least like stop the power connected to them, because I'm assuming that this panel is connected.
All right, so if I can summarize, the general thing you're going for is the safe and healthy release of the enslaved subjects.
Correct.
Oh, sounds good. Give me a roll, a d20 plus your power's effect level. I will allow you to do a technology skill roll if that's better, but I don't think it is.
I got a 19.
Okay, a 19 is not good enough.
Oops.
Is there anything we can do to boost this up at this point? I don't think so, because you're kind of on your own ghostly. So you're trying here, you're manipulating the electronics, but it's so unusual and like detailed. You're trying to make things move.
I think
and you're moving more bits than you mean to. So I go on.
I do have an enhanced electrical. Oh, it's absorption.
And ultimately, you end up kind of getting control of this thing, but you end up wrecking it. And there's some sort of electronic feedback, and there's these large, like, arcing sparks that move across the different pods. So you wrecked it, and you don't think it's going to work anymore, but you're not sure what happened to the people that were hooked up to those things.
Whoops.
And most importantly, you also managed to trigger the self-destruct countdown.
Yay.
So essentially, you all see that happen. The thing pops up, self-destruct countdown. It's really short. I'm not going to say how many seconds. It's just a small number that starts going down. Basically, as a team, you're going to get one trip, one chance to rescue as many people as you can. These people are in these enclosed pods that they're strapped into and attached to. It would, if the whole team worked like to normally pop this thing open and carefully take someone out, you might rescue one person. If you pulled off something heroic, you might be able to rescue them all. There's 4 people that you might want to save. Or you might only care about General Maxon. We've got a few minutes left to wrap this up, so I guess let's go around this in initiative order based on the initiatives you already rolled. Astrochimp, what are you going to do?
So Astrochimp has been screaming no for the last 6 seconds, nonstop. So he's going to look at... can I throw my teleporter to Optimus with a free action, or would that require an action?
I think to pass gear from one person to another would be a move action.
Right.
As long as they're amenable to taking it from you. If they don't want to take it, then it gets into a whole conflict of its own.
So I will offer the teleporter to Optimus and say, get everybody together. Just press the button. It can teleport 6 tons. And then I will use extra effort to get another action, and I will fly over to Core, and I'll grab her, and I can move my action so I can grab her, and I'll fly her outside.
Okay. You have rescued Core and set up an escape plan. Next would be Opti.
I'm not 100% sure that this is my power set here.
If you want to hold action to let someone else do something first, that's fine with me. Nothing goes boom till the end of the combat turn.
Yeah, I'll see what everybody else does. That's a good idea.
Core, oh, never mind. Grab, your turn.
That was harsh.
It was actually unintentional at first. Then I decided to rub it in.
Can I? Do we know the source of the boom or see the source of what's going to boom?
You're not sure. There's a lot of tech here. There's nothing obvious. If you'd like to take a move action to do a perception, allow you to take a look, or you can replace that with an appropriate skill for like spotting this kind of stuff if you want. Like technology would make sense, right? Or demolitions if that exists.
Honestly, probably the only thing I have better than my perception to make this check would be my expertise in science, possibly.
Yeah, it's more of a tech thing than a science thing, though obviously there's some overlap. So we'll say technology or perception unless you've got a better suggestion.
Nah, they're both the same, so I'll just do a perception.
All right, we're going to call this a difficulty 25.
Ugh. I'm going to hero point this roll. And end up with a 26.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, you see all the different conduits going around. You kind of trace which ones are for power and for data and for other stuff. And you're able to kind of trace things over to this sort of like portable power source thing that you don't quite recognize as like normal tech that you're used to, but you think it might be some sort of like a portable reactor of some kind. Possibly like nuclear. That's bad. But you think if you can do a super quick thingamajigger, you can make it not blow up. That said, you'll have one action to do it with if you try it.
Oh, actually, I was just planning on putting a containment field around it because that's one of the things I can do is contain explosions.
You know, that seems entirely appropriate as well. So describe what you do then.
Yeah, so I throw up my gravity field around the thingamajig, just look at the rest of the team and say, I got this contained long enough for you guys to get out of here.
All right, so after that is Ether. And Opti, you still have an action to step in any time before the end of the round.
Okay. Well, I can't actually like physically affect things when I'm in my ghost form, correct?
I don't think so, except for electric stuff.
So I'm going to. Is the the other Gravistar, is he knocked out?
Oh yeah, he is out. He's not getting back up for a while, at least as far as you can tell. Maybe he can regenerate though. Who knows? This is a comic book.
I'm gonna try to inhabit his body.
What happens when you do that when someone's unconscious? Do they get the same roll, or are they considered helpless?
I think they're considered helpless because that's how I got my body. But I mean, he's not just a regular human, so that's up to you.
That is a good point about how she got her own body. That's pretty much the exact scenario.
Yeah, it's a little weird and unusual, not quite the same physiology.
I know I wouldn't really know how to use his attacks and stuff, but that's not what I'm aiming to use him for.
But yeah, we'll say you do manage to slip in and counts as helpless, and you are now inhabiting a body of a thing that is very similar to Gravistar, though, only in, appearance and potentially power set. Gravistar seems much nicer. This guy kind of seems like an asshole.
Is Gravistar able to buy us enough time that we will get another round before we need to get out of here?
No. Gravistar's got his thing to do, so if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then, well, gosh, what are we going to do for the next 5 episodes we have planned for this? Okay,
yeah, that's my movement.
I guess, Opti, then, what are you going to do as the timer gets down to 0?
Unfortunately, my complications are not going to allow me to leave these people. So Gravistar, I believe, says he's got it contained in some sense. I was unclear on. Can he stop the blast, do you think, Grav? Or are you just holding it?
I should be able to contain the blast within my field.
Okay, then... blah.
Alright, at that point the timer goes off and the explosion happens. Gravistar, how does your blast work? Hope you don't mind me stepping over.
That's fine.
I figured you could use the help after the streamathon, so.
Alrighty.
Alright, so how does your containment work? Because there is an explosion within your containment field.
Yeah, it's 10 levels of nullified on explosions.
I'm gonna cover everybody with a force field like I did last time, just in case he can't contain it all.
Okay, so he contains it. There's this bright blast inside of it, and then it bursts out, and there's this bright light and a flash and a whoosh of sound. Everyone's knocked over a bit, but it's like, or maybe not knocked, but like kind of blasted with some of the wind and the light, and it feels really warm for a second. And your rad meters, if you have any, go up. But it's actually just pretty mild. It ends up being like a damage rating 4 after the blast. So after it basically gets past the nullify. So ultimately, I'm not going to make you all roll. Some of you might be like bruised or something a little bit, but it's not terribly important because this is the last countermeasure in place. After that, the computer systems all turn off, shut down, go dark, and the people inside the pods start waking up. They're otherwise generally healthy, except for they're strapped in and can't seem to move very well. So, with the next panel, Opti, you're standing by as they're popping open the pod, and you see General Maxon there, looking a bit emaciated and confused, and much more vulnerable than you're used to seeing him.
General, I'm so pleased to see that you are at least relatively unhurt.
He does his best to kind of stand as someone kind of brings up something to help him cover up a bit, and he's very wobbly in his feet, but he managed to do a sort of a proud stand and crisp salute.
I don't salute him back because
before he passes out, and
I catch him. That's my salute.
I will see him pass out, and I'm gonna just go hit my head on the wall as this other dude, just in case he tries to wake up again. And then I'm gonna jump out of his body, and I'm gonna go possess the general.
That's so funny.
All right, so you possess the general as he's sort of like passed out in Opti's arms. You look up into Opti's eyes as he sees you, and he's got this concerned look.
It's me. He's still unconscious, but I can walk him out of here.
Very good. This was about to get awkward.
All right, so there were 3 other people that you rescue, and ultimately I got some ideas that I could use, but I would love to hear from our viewers and listeners. Maybe sometime before the next time, maybe we can do a tweet. But those of you who are here watching, you get the first shot at it. Who are the other 3 people that were rescued by the Justicars? Something about them, they're definitely someone important who've been grabbed to be used by whoever can hook people up to robots in pods to do things, and apparently looks like Gravistar. But who are the important people that might have replacement robots that will be malfunctioning right about now? So, I guess, do we have like a way for... We do, we have a Discord, damn it. The Shadowcasters Network Discord. So, hop on in there, and there's a channel for the Justicars. Tell us what you think about who else the Justicars might have just rescued.
They might have just Nope, didn't work.
And I think, I'd like to end this, like the last panels in this comic book is like Opti sort of holding the general who's gone unconscious, and sort of this loving grasp. It's not like a lover's embrace, but he's sort of holding him, cradling him, and carefully looking at him. And then the next shot is like, sort of Opti looking down with a concerned look, and the general looking up and just saying, "It's me." And then whatever else he just said. And then
Can I then do like the startled dropping her then?
More like I think anything after that will be anticlimactic. But yeah, you end up walking the general out of there, and you rescued the people. Good job. Nothing blew up that wasn't contained enough to not hurt anybody. And
Gravistar, way to save the day, man. That was a clutch power.
That was very, very useful and incredibly specific to the situation. That said, you've captured this dude who looks just like you. What does that mean? I mean, you don't think he looks anything like you, right? You don't know where anybody.
I don't see the resemblance.
I don't get the resemblance at all. I just don't see it.
I for one am super curious about this because I thought that he was like a Hulk type thing who just like randomly sprouted when he was caught in a gamma bomb explosion, but why is there somebody else that looks like him? That's bizarre.
I know, right? I thought I was unique.
You did too? Oh, this is awesome. I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, this was fun. I was a little bit nervous about running tonight because I was just. I think we needed just feeling completely out of gas.
We needed to shake it off a little bit. I think you and me both, just after the weekend, were pretty. Sarah had a pretty big weekend too, so I think we're all just needing to shake it off. But then once we got our steam back, after the break.
Is Core dead?
I got a syringe for you. Just gonna stab you.
Oh, right. Yeah, we kind of left that a little bit. Like, Cora's not dead, right? You're just taken out unless somebody healed you until the rest. So you were badly injured, right? You survive. We don't even call you dead, right? It's not even where we pretend that you died and bring you back an issue later. It's just like you got beat up really bad.
Okay, I can handle that.
It's a key.
Yeah, we don't have the money to get new art for a new character, so you have to stay alive.
Astro Chimp and Core have the same moment Optiverse has with Major or Colonel Maxon.
We could do a slightly discolored Astro Chimp, and you could be like Astro Chimp's sister for next episode or something. Wait, there's only one. There's only one Astro Chimp. Or maybe it's from Earth Chimp.
And I've got to say, this is the second time in as many sessions I've eaten Masterminds where I've managed to one-shot one of the heroes pretty much right away in the fight. I mean, you turned around and did it again with, I rolled pathetic on this guy's roll to resist Opti's attack, so, you one-shotted him right back, but...
Yeet!
Thanks for saving me, guys.
It's what we do.
What's a Justifam for?
Just a caring.
Justifam's for.
So I think after this, considering you saved 4 people, I'm going to reward you each with 4 experience points. Ooh.
Hey, Sarah, you have to defend your honor because somebody is suggesting that you're responsible for the looping timer on the Shadowrun 6th World site. I think you need to address this lest you be defamed.
Well, it's not her fault. And apparently it's by design, right? So, but yeah, I'll let you explain it.
I just realized I did have hero points. I'm so dumb. I didn't think I had any.
So yeah, the 6th World website is that Doomsday Clock is just trying to hit 0, and something or someone is not letting that happen. So I guess we're gonna have to watch over the next couple days and.
Oh my God! There's something happening right now. Slamo's talking.
Who is?
Slamo and Bull are talking on the Shadowrun6world.com.
I'm going now.
Yeah, right now Glitch gets involved too.
Oh! Okay. All right, everybody. We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave the stream
with the link here before we leave the stream. So let's drop the link in so people can see what's happening. We got the 6th World Edition of Shadowrun dropping. Like some people have played it already with the beginner box at Origins. The core book drops in August at Gen Con, and you can hear it and see it played on this channel on some Thursdays and not others. It's on our website somewhere. I'm too lazy. Just follow that link that we just pasted to see this craziness that's happening right now as we speak. So,
all right, everybody. Thank you for being here. We love you.
We need to end it with an Excelsior.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
All together this time. Like someone else picked the technique we're going to use to sync ourselves up. Like, how's the queue going to work?
I'm gonna.
Let's do it.
Okay. Go ahead. Somebody else.
Or no, it was Sarah talking. Sorry.
Let's do it on 3. Okay, so on, not after. On.
Okay, you count us in.
1, 2.
Excelsior!
I was too touch to talk.
Hey, we were like all together. That was the best one so far.
Woohoo!
So yes, thanks, true believers, for hanging out with us.
We appreciate you all, and we will see you on Monday for variants, and then we have so much more coming after that. But we'll see you there.
Because the Shadowcasters Network gets to happen for another year.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yes, and then also we have a big Discord server that's really, really active. So head on over there and talk about all the stuff that you have encountered here. And we'll see you next time, everyone.
All right, I just dropped the